students from Robinson, Basis Independent McLean, and Sandy Spring Friends meet today on It's Academic. Welcome to It's Academic, the world's longest-running TV quiz show produced by Altman Productions in association with David M. Rubenstein Productions and WETA.
Support for It's Academic has been provided by the following: George Mason University, all together different.
Call us different.
Different in where we come from,
Where we're going,
and how we think.
but the same in our dreams for tomorrow.
Driven by the pull of possibility.
To inspire,
To think fearlessly. To protect and to heal the planet. We know the world will change.
together.
We will be the ones to change it.
Call Mason different. All
Together different.
Everybody, we are so glad to have you here for our first playoff game of the season. All of these teams are good, having won their first round matches, and we're going to give them some more questions today, beginning with our fast start, where questions are worth 10 points up or down. Teams, first one to buzz in gets to answer, but you know that it's old hat. Here we go. 6-letter creatures. You have to measure your answers out carefully here to identify the following animals and birds, all of which have 6-letter names. This animal is the symbol of the Democratic Party. Hawks.
Donkey.
That's it. This animal nicknames the state of Wisconsin.
Badger.
Badger is right. Sandy Spring. This P initial, that's P as in people, constricting snake has invaded.
Python.
Sandy Spring.
Python.
Yeah. These B initialed animals are the world's biggest monkeys. Robinson.
Bonobo.
Answer.
Bonobo.
No, baboons. This animal goes pop in an old children's song. Independent.
Weasel.
Yeah. Lewis Carroll wrote a poem about a carpenter and this Arctic mammal.
Oh, it's a walrus.
Yep, Sandy
Walrus?
Springs. Walrus it is. Koalas are the closest relative to this W-initialed marsupial basis.
Wombat.
Yeah. Able to leap 40 feet horizontally. These felines are also called pumas or, Sandy Spring.
Cougar.
Cougar it is. This A-initialed South American camelid is raised for its soft fleece. Sandy
Alpaca.
Spring, yeah. This large feline names a Jacksonville NFL team. Robinson.
Jaguars.
Jaguars it is, and that does it for our fast start. Let's take a look at these scores. Robinson, 100 points. Basis Independent McLean, 130 points. And Sandy Spring Friends, 150 points. Now that Fast Start is in the books, we get to begin the mix and match round. Obviously, we get to meet the team members first, and we've heard from all these guys before because this is a playoff match. Let's begin with Robinson High School. Julian, please begin the introductions.
I'm an 18-year-old senior at Robinson. This is my second season on It's Academic.
I'm Jacob, I'm captain, and I'm a senior at Robinson.
I'm Noah. I'm a junior, and this is my first season on It's Academic.
Wonderful, and we love seeing you each and every time you guys show up. So, of course, this is the mix and match round. Questions are worth 20 points, nothing off for a wrong answer. Robinson, here we go. Fancy Prussian blue. Study this colorful phrase, and you can find the name of what Mediterranean island country where Nicosia is capital.
Cyprus.
Yes. Sanctimonious, deciduous, acrimonious. A person who is caustic and bitter can best be described by which of these words?
Not the middle one.
Acrimonious.
Acrimonious.
That's it. Miscellaneous. To correctly spell this word, you must put what letter in the blank space?
I think so.
I.
No, it's E. Noble, stable, variable, mute. Which two of these words are antonyms?
Means the opposite.
Yeah.
Stable and variable.
You've got it. Kinshasa, Kabul, Kathmandu. Which one of these cities is located in Africa and is the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo?
Kinshasa.
Yeah. The Big Whack or the Big Smack? This is the name of a scientific theory that says the Earth was hit billions of years ago by a huge object, gouging out enough debris to create what natural Earth satellite 240,000 miles away? It is the moon. Nicely done, Robinson. 200 points. Now to the team from Basis Independent McLean in McLean, Virginia. Andrew, hi.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm 16 years old. I'm a junior, and this is my first season on It's Academic.
Good to have you. Hi, Caden.
Hi, I'm Caden. I'm a senior at Basis McLean, and this is my third season on It's Academic.
Good to see you. Henry.
Hi, I'm Henry. I'm a senior. This is my second season at It's Academic.
Great. Well, I've got more questions for you guys. Trajan uses catapult. Forget the Roman emperor and see if you can find here the name of what two-faced Roman god.
Janus.
Yeah, that's right. You can let me finish because it's not even a competitive round. Fight, study, cry easily. A person who is pugnacious is most likely to do which of these?
Fight.
Correct. Dirigible. Well, as you know, a dirigible is a type of airship, and to spell it correctly, you should put what letter in the blank space?
I.
I is right. Arduous, delicious, respite, difficult. Which two of these words are synonyms?
Arduous and difficult.
You've got it. Muon detector, clarifier, spectroscope. A mysterious empty space in the Grand Pyramid at Giza was discovered by scientists using which of these devices that detect particles from outer space?
Muon detector.
You are right again. The water is the same on both sides of the boat. You won't get a sinking feeling if you identify this proverb as being from what Scandinavian country whose capital is Oslo?
Norway.
Norway is right. Nice. Basis Independent McLean, 250 points. And now the Sandy Spring friends from Sandy Spring, Maryland. Justin, begin the introductions, please.
Hi, I'm Justin, and I'm a 16-year-old junior.
Good to see you.
I'm Diego. I'm an 18-year-old senior, and this is Oscar, our wildebeest.
Hi, Oscar. And Nate.
Hi, I'm Nate. I'm a 17-year-old junior.
All right. Well, guys, I've got some questions for you. Here we go. Trap a chess piece. Hidden here is the name of what Native American tribe whose leaders have included Cochise and Geronimo?
Apache.
Yeah. Friendly, frugal, ferocious. A person who is thrifty can best be described by which of these adjectives?
Frugal.
Yeah. Exhilarated. You'll be exhilarated if you can spell the word exhilarated correctly by placing what letter in the blank space?
H.
Yep. Obsolete, obstinate, archaic, reflective. Of these four words, which two are synonyms?
Obsolete and archaic.
You are right. Democritus, Hippocrates, Herodotus. When a doctor swears to uphold his profession, he swears an oath linked to what Greek physician known as the father of medicine?
Hippocrates.
Yeah. A Garden of Eden is where everybody is allowed to eat the apples. An American novelist wrote this description of Acadia National Park in what largest and northernmost New England state?
Maine.
Maine is right. Nice. Sandy Spring friends, 270 points. That does it for Mix and Match. Picture Perfect is next. See you in a second.
I'm David Rubenstein. From the Kennedy Center and the National Archives to the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument, I've been pleased to support many important organizations and historic sites linked to American history, art, culture, education, and more. I believe giving back to our country isn't just an idea, it's an action, a patriotic action that involves all of us. And it begins with education and learning about our nation's past so that we, the people, can make a more perfect union for the future. We can do it together. Please read, learn, get involved, and make a difference.
That's Robbie the Ram and the Wildebeest. The Wildebeest from Silver Spring friends, Robbie the Ram, obviously from Robinson High School. Woo! Love seeing the mascots. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you again. Of course, we begin with the Picture Perfect round now, and questions are worth 20 points up or down. Teams, are you ready? Your fans are ready too. This J.M. Turner painting shows fire destroying the building housing what British legislative body? Robinson. Correct, Parliament. This is the music for a Chopin waltz, whose title indicates that it should be played in what short period of time? Anybody? Bink, 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 bink. It is Minute Waltz. The explosion of a supernova in 1054 left behind this nebula with the name of what crustacean? Sandy
Crab.
Spring. Crab it is. Please give the value of this expression as an integer. Yup, basis.
256.
Correct. This is the flag of the Azores. A chain of islands, basis.
Portugal.
Yeah, nicely done. Choice. Is this compound dinitrogen trioxide, nitro, basis?
Dinitrogen trioxide.
You're right. In a court of chickens, the cockroach never wins his case. This proverb comes from what small African country where Kigali is?
Rwanda.
Sandy Spring.
Rwanda.
Yep. Chew on the fact that some armadillos have 100 teeth that lack both roots and what hard E initial substance? Robinson. Enamel it is, and that does it for Picture Perfect. Here are the scores. Robinson, 240 points. Basis Independent McLean, 310 points. Sandy Spring Friends, 310 points. These are formidable teams. Let's meet the people who helped prepare them for competition on It's Academic. We begin with Robinson High School. And Jacob, tell us who's with you.
I'd like to thank our coaches, Ms. Glotfelty and Mr. Campana, for their support, as well as our wonderful administrative team here at Robinson.
Awesome. Great to see you guys. And from Basis Independent McLean, Caden.
Hi, I'd really like to thank Mr. Castelaspi, our faculty staff who unfortunately can't be here today. I'd also like to thank my parents who are our amazing coaches.
We talked about this. Hi. We talked about this last time. That kind of puts a little pressure on you, doesn't it?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And finally, Sandy Spring Friends, Diego.
So here today we have our wonderful coach, Eduardo Pallone. And I'd also like to thank our assistant coach, Mark Ellers, who's unable to be here today, and all of our club team members who support us and practice with us to help us get where we are.
Wonderful. Round of applause for all of you. Thanks for being here. Okay, now we can begin the packet round. You know how it works. In this round, there are these three lovely packets. Robinson goes first. Basis Independent McLean gets to choose which packet they'll answer questions from. Pick a packet. Two. If you get all the questions right, you know there's a wonderful 25-point bonus. Curiosity not only killed the cat, it drove what mythical woman to open the box from which all the evils of the world escaped?
Pandora.
Yeah. In 1822, a man named Denmark Vesey led an unsuccessful slave revolt in what South Carolina city that later witnessed the shelling of Fort Sumter?
Charleston.
Charleston is right. Once a committed socialist, what Italian opposed the Socialist Party when he became Italy's World War II dictator?
Mussolini.
Yeah, here's your science question. Which of these terms refers to the heat absorbed or released by a substance as it changes state, for example, from a solid to a liquid?
Latent heat. Latent heat.
Latent heat is right. Nikolai Gogol's novel Dead Souls concerns what S-initialed class of Russian peasants who lived in slave-like conditions
Serfs.
until 1861. Yes, it is. A can of pesticide would be a most unwelcome present for the protagonist of what Franz Kafka story about a man who finds himself changed into a giant insect?
Metamorphosis.
You are right again. Here's your math question. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as an integer.
Three.
Three is right. Your flag is a splendor of sky. It's the first line of the national anthem of what Central American country whose blue and white flag flies over the capital, Tegucigalpa?
Honduras.
Honduras, it is. Nicely done. 25-point bonus for Robinson High School. All right, Basis Independent McLean, your turn. Sandy Spring Friends, packet 1 or 3?
Three.
All right. If you were to visit the cities of Johannesburg and Pretoria, you'd be in what country that was home to Nelson Mandela?
South Africa.
Yeah. If you love a parade, you'll usually find one on March 17th honoring what saint? renowned for converting the Irish to Christianity?
St. Patrick.
St. Patrick, yes. What word applies to the Hessians in the Revolutionary War, indicating they fought only for money?
Mercenaries.
Correct again. Here's your science question. Neodymium, lithium, cobalt. Which of these is a rare earth metal used to make magnets so powerful they can respond to metals in printing ink and be used to detect counterfeit money?
Neodymium.
Yeah. Were she around today? What classical goddess might promote natural grains because she was the goddess of grains?
Demeter.
Yes. A woman reading the works of Guy de Maupassant might appropriately wear what type of jewelry referred to in the title of one of his most famous stories?
Necklace.
Yeah. Here's your math question. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as an integer.
8, it's 32. 32. Okay. 32.
Yep, it's 32. Island of Gold was the ancient name for Sumatra, one of the islands making up what Southeast Asian country where Jakarta has been the capital?
Indonesia.
Indonesia is right. Another 25-point bonus for Basis Independent McLean. Nice job. And now, Sandy Spring friends, your packet is packet number 1. Recently, killer whales have been spotted wearing on their heads what kind of fish known for swimming upstream to spawn?
Salmon.
Yeah, isn't that funny? At age 16, a boy in ancient Rome would become an adult in a ceremony where he put on what traditional garment worn only by male citizens of Rome?
A toga? Yeah, toga.
Yep. Although to the Chinese, it can symbolize greed or trickery, what large insect is described as preying because of the position of its forelegs?
Mantis.
Yeah, here's your science question. Ileum, epiglottis. Which of these terms refers to a part of the small intestine that absorbs digested food?
Ileum.
Ileum it is. Oceanographer Jacques Cousteau once led a group in search of what legendary lost continent said by the ancients to have sunk into the ocean?
Atlantis. Atlantis?
It is Atlantis. In an Oscar Wilde novel, what handsome young man keeps his youthful appearance while the gradual deterioration of his portrait reveals his inner depravity?
Dorian Gray.
Yeah, here's your math question. What is the next number in this sequence?
25.
25 is right. At only a few hundred meters long, the world's shortest international border may be the one separating Botswana from what other African country whose capital is Lusaka?
Zambia. Zambia.
Zambia's right. We have a third 25-point bonus. That's what I'm talking about. Anything can happen in this match. It is close. The grab bag round is next.
Hello, I'm David Rubenstein. Did you know NASA is planning to send a submarine to explore the liquid methane seas on Titan, Saturn's largest moon? Launch date is scheduled for sometime after 2030. I'm David Rubenstein, reminding you to read, learn, get involved, and make a difference.
Now, here's an audience question. To avoid predators like black-footed ferrets, what rodents will station sentries at the entrance to their burrows? The answer: prairie dogs, which will also clear brush from the entrance so they can see predators approaching. Back to the game. You can tell this is a playoff match because these teams are so good, each one winning a 25-point bonus. Let's check these scores. Robinson, home of the Rams, 425 points. Basis Independent McLean, home of the Hawks, 495 points. And Sandy Spring Friends, home of the Wildebeest, 495 points. Okay, in the grab bag, questions are worth 20 points up or down. Once again, the first team to buzz in gets to answer. Teams. Shortly after the Civil War, tourists first used the famous boardwalk at what New Jersey resort? Sandy Spring.
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City, yeah. When Hitler forced Lithuania to give up the port of Memel, he gained a strategic base on what sea? Yes, basis.
Baltic Sea.
Baltic is. Although he didn't write the Marines' hymn, what composer of the Stars?
Sousa.
Robinson? Yeah, Sousa. Good. On your screens. Georges de la Tour, the artist who painted this picture, was a favorite of what French cardinal, the chief minister? Robinson.
Richelieu.
Richelieu is correct. The last novel in the Hunger Games trilogy is what book? Sandy Spring.
Mockingjay.
Mockingjay it is. What number constitutional amendment forbids a poll tax in federal Sandy Spring?
25.
No, 24. Close. The Chinese province of Shandong was the home of what 6th century... Confucius, yes, 6th century BC teacher on your screens. Where's the money? This might have been a text from what Shakespeare character who demanded...
Shylock.
Shylock is right. Sandy Spring friends. One asteroid discovered in 1807 is commonly called by the V initial name of what Roman goddess of the hearth? Sandy Spring.
Vesta.
Answer. Vesta it is. Two non-congruent circles that intersect at more than one point have how many common tangents? Answer, anybody? It is, Robinson.
2.
Yeah, that's it. There are no national holidays in March, but in March of 1933, President Roosevelt declared what so-called holiday to ease pressure on financial institutions? It was a bank holiday. On your screens. This is what isolated Pacific island where Fletcher Christian and others of the Bounty's crew settled after their, yes, Sandy Spring.
Pitcairn Islands.
Pitcairn it is, yeah. So isolated, that place. What Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court played a leading role in the 1954 Brown v. Board of Education basis?
No.
Answer. Answer.
Warren.
3, 2.
Warren.
Warren it is, yeah. Choice. The visual receptors used primarily for night vision are rods, yes, basis.
Cones.
No, rods. While the ostrich is the largest bird, the second largest is
Emu.
Robinson. Emu is right on your screens. Choice. Cowrie shells, yes, basis.
Cowrie shells.
No, gastropods are formed by creatures belonging to what same class? In Robert Heinlein's book, Methuselah's Children, Heinlein gave the hero the name of what man whom Jesus had raised from the dead? Yep, Sandy Springs.
Lazarus.
Yeah. In 2005, a librarian cleaning out a cabinet found a handwritten musical manuscript by what German composer who had written 9 symphonies? Yep,
Beethoven.
Sandy Spring, yes. The ancient goddess Hera didn't need a stable of horses as her chariot was driven by basis.
Peacocks.
Peacocks is right. During our Civil War, a French reporter described as La Marseillaise of the Yankees what patriotic song written by abolitionist Julia Ward Robinson? Answer. No, Battle Hymn of the Republic, and that does it. That's the end of the game. We'll be checking out those scores and be back with the official ones in just a minute.
I'm David Rubenstein, and I believe giving back is something we all can do. Many students are getting involved in their communities in important ways. I've asked them to share with us how they're making a difference.
Hi, I'm Humphrey. I'm a junior at St. Albans School in DC. Right now, I'm a head of the Elderly and Veterans Committee on my school service board, meaning that I help organize and lead opportunities for other students at St. Albans to get involved with the elderly and veterans while simultaneously completing their service hour requirement. Over the summer, I also volunteer at a free summer camp for underprivileged kids in DC. I find volunteering in the community meaningful because I can see the impact in the community, and I would recommend that others go beyond the service requirements of their school and figure out how they can make an impact as well.
Like these students, you too can help improve the lives of so many people by volunteering in your town and community. Please read, learn, get involved, and make a difference.
Aren't these teams wonderful, guys? Everybody did such a great job. All right, let's do these scores, huh? We begin with Robinson High School from Fairfax County. Julian Jacob Noah, 485 points. From Basis Independent McLean in McLean, Virginia, Andrew Cada and Henry, 515 points. And coming back for the semifinals. Sandy Spring Friends, you were fast, guys. 635 points for Justin, Diego, Nate, and the Wildebeest. We are so happy you were here to join us for our first playoff of the season. I'm Hillary Howard, really glad you were here. And remember, everybody, it's academic. Bye-bye, see ya.
Support for It's Academic has been provided by the following: George Mason University, all together different.
Call us different.
Different in where we come from,
Where we're going,
and how we think.
but the same in our dreams for tomorrow.
Driven by the pull of possibility.
To inspire,
To think fearlessly. To protect and to heal the planet. We know the world will change.
together.
We will be the ones to change it.
Call Mason different. All
Together different.